Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be making this quick and simple Halloween wreath with leftover supplies. Yes, so grab a brew and let's get started. So I got this sign from the pound shop in the UK probably a couple of years ago, and I'm just using these leftover wired ribbons that match the colours on the signs. And then it was time to prepare the sign. Now, to say I made a mistake, well, just watch this. Yes guys, for those of you who don't like spiders, there will be some plastic spiders coming up soon. So to secure the sign down, I decided to add some pipe cleaners to the back with some staples. This was the error. I stapled it straight through the board. But I carried on and I did the other side, and then I'm going to use the actual spiders to cover over where the staples were. So I'm just going to glue these on with some hot glue, pressing them down firmly to make sure that they stay. With these plastic spiders and other insects, it's just a matter of finding the raised areas and putting the glue on them, making sure that they contact the actual sign. The sign was finished, it was time to cover the wreath base. So I'm just using a normal, like what you'd use for Christmas time, wreath base, which is like with the Christmas tree pines. And I've got this 21-inch deca mesh that I'd got left over. So I'm just ruffling that at the top, tying it in with the pines. And then I'll pull the deca mesh out to about 10-12 inches and I'll tie that in further around the wreath base, and then I'll fluff that out, and I just do that continually around until it's all covered. I think I did about 6 of these loops in there, and it's a really quick and easy way to cover up a wreath base. Now it is easier to actually drop the deca mesh to the floor when you're doing this. However, the dog had decided, Willow had decided she would fall asleep at my feet. So I didn't want to drop it on her head and wake her up. She did wake up just after I'd finished this, by the way, and then jumped on her normal place at the couch, which was lovely. And then once I'd gone all the way around, I just cut off the excess. Now, yeah, if anybody does know of any really good scissors, please let me know, because I'm fighting with mine every day now. So then it's just figuring out where you want the sign to actually go. You can have it in the middle, you could have it to one side, it's entirely up to you. This is your wreath and it's your decision. So once you've decided where you want it, it's just a matter of tying the sign in with the pipe cleaners that's stapled on the back. So I just went and fed the actual pipe cleaners through either the deca mesh or the pines, and then I twisted that off to make it secure. I did exactly the same on the other side. You'll see a better shot once I turn the wreath over. Now don't forget, at this point, if you don't like where it actually is positioned, you can undo the actual pipe cleaners, take it back out and put it back in. Don't worry about it not being in the correct position and you're thinking, I don't like that. Just take it out and put it back in. Now I started making this ribbon, and as you'll see at one point, I just stop and I think to myself, I've done that wrong. Because what I wanted to do was make a simple ribbon, and I think it's called a funky bow or a Damon bow, after Damon off Deco Exchange. I'm not sure which one it is, but you'll see as I go along, I suddenly stop and think, I've done that wrong, and then I actually change my mind. So just watch. You'll see me pushing on top of the actual light spikes there. I've had this little bow maker for a long time now, and it's actually becoming quite loose. I do need to get myself a new one. So here's where I stop and I think, no, I've done that wrong, because the funky bow is just one loop of each ribbon, and I realised I'd done it wrong. So essentially I'd just wasted a lot of ribbon, but that's fine, I'll be using that later. So I get the next layer of ribbon. Now this is quite like a plasticky ribbon. It's really nice to use, especially for outside wreaths and things, because it's waterproof, etc., but it's quite hard to use. So what I do is I measure the length that I want, and then I twist it just as it's going into where the actual spikes are on the bow maker, and then that's so that the pretty side of the ribbon is always facing outwards. And then I bring the roll over to the other side and I measure the bow to the length I wanted it, which was about 6 inches, and then I just cut it off. So it's basically just a one loop bow, and then I'll do that again with the next layer of ribbon. So I get this other ribbon, which is really nice, and I've had this for quite some time as well, and I measure out what I want, I twist it as I put it into the bow maker, I stick out the tail, then I create the loop where I want it. And instead of, if you were doing a double layered bow or a double sided bow, you'd now twist the ribbon again, but there's no need to. So I just cut off to the length I want, and I do that for all the ribbons that I put into it. At this point you can also manipulate the ribbons for them to sit where you want them. Now they may change once it's all tied together, but you can still manipulate them and have a look, have it like a vision of what the final bow will look like. So once I've got all the ribbons in that I want, I then get a pipe cleaner and I carefully put it, I fold it in half and then carefully pick up the ribbons off the bow maker, making sure that my fingers are underneath all the ribbons, and then I feed the pipe cleaner through either side where the spikes essentially would have been on the ribbons, and then I give it a really good twist at the back just to make sure that it's secure. Now you can fluff up the ribbons at this point, it's entirely up to you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just put it onto the wreath and then I fluff it up once it's finished. And then just position the bow where you want it on the wreath. And again, like we did with the sign, I'll just feed the pipe cleaners either straight through the deco mesh or through the frame, or secure it onto the pines on the actual wreath, just however you want to make it secure. As you can see here, I'm just giving it the pipe cleaners a few good twists at the back just to make sure that it's secure on the wreath, and then I'll tuck whatever's remaining of the actual pipe cleaner just down into the wreath. Then I just made the exact same bow, just with some longer tails this time for at the bottom, and I secured that in place. And then it was time to dovetail or fishtail the ribbons, whatever you want to call it. I normally fold them over and then cut towards the wire. You can do it the other way around, where you cut away from the wire and down, but as long as you get that V shape, the V shape going downwards, then that's fine. That's how you dovetail. And then once that was complete, I made a few ribbon tails out of the remainder of the ribbon. So this is the one that I'd cut off that I made the mistake on, and it just came to 12 inches. So I cut all the rest of the ribbons in 12-inch strips. So I did 2 of each of the ribbons, just so that I had enough to basically make the outside look pretty. I didn't put ribbons all over the wreath because I didn't have enough ribbon, but you know, we're just using leftovers, so we do what we can do. And then once I'd cut all the ribbons out, it was then time to dovetail them. So once I got them all cut, I decided to lay them out in the pattern that I wanted them to go onto the wreath. Now, it would have been easier if I didn't have to fight with that one particular ribbon there. It just wasn't playing. to make the ribbon tail, I got the 2 pieces of ribbon I wanted to go together. I folded them in half and then I scrunched them basically in the middle and formed a V shape. And then I added this into the wreath, just twisting it into the pines and then splitting out the 2 ribbons so that it made a nice effect. Yes, so if you are enjoying the video, please do give me a like and a comment. It does mean a lot. And thank you to all my recent subscribers. You're amazing and I hope you stay around. Thank you. Here I actually got myself caught up on one of the wires on the ribbon. It had actually started poking out. So if it does that, then just cut it off. So then, just to cover the deca mesh that wasn't actually covered by ribbon, I decided to add these spiders and some back picks that I had. So I basically just went around and glued them down with hot glue, again putting them in the area that was raised on the back of the actual insect or whatever it was that we was using, and glued them down to the deca mesh. Then that was it, that was finished. So what do you think, guys? I think it turned out really well. To say we were using leftovers, I really think it looks really nice. But let me know what you think. Do leave me a like or a comment, and please do, if you're not subscribed. Oh yes, and supervisor got back on the couch and snored all the way through. Anyway guys, yeah, Christmas starts next week, so thanks for watching. Bye.